On Spot Reviews, MagicRy.
SpartanSteve. And the dog walks by. And this is a coin.
I don't know what that is.
It's a quarter.
Currency. It's a Canadian currency.
Quarter.
We're Canadian.
It's got a queen for a head and a moose for a tail.
Even though the queen has nothing to do with Canada.
Not moose. Canada.
Anyways, let's give her a good old flip.
You flip. No. You could do this.
I know.
Just look at it.
No, Billy, go away.
Just do proper projection. Don't throw it in like a wimp. It's heads.
It's time. Guess what?
What?
I'm KickAss.
Who are you? I'm KickAss.
Ooh, KickAss.
KickAss 1, not the second. Though I did like the second, don't get me wrong. But
Not as much.
I still liked it.
Yeah.
Okay, KickAss 1. We didn't do this review, did we?
No.
Okay, good.
Why?
Losing track of the reviews now. Yes, we're talking about
By the 2010 movie by
The 2010.
Matthew Vaughn.
Yes,
Director
that's the
Matthew Vaughn.
one.
He has a new movie coming out this year, The Secret Service or something? Like,
The Kingsman.
I
love you, Billy.
The, you and I are excited for that.
This is SpartanSteve's dog, and he's basically cuter than we are. So
Yeah, I know.
sorry about that.
Billy, this is the dog. Billy loves KickAss.
Yeah,
as well as I do.
He loves KickAss. It's his favorite.
So ask me what?
So, characters. So give me a little plot line of the characters. So,
Alright.
So
film stars Dave Lazuski, who is, typical average Joe. There's nothing really that defines him.
Nerd.
He likes, just typical nerd. Doesn't excel in anything, but he loves comic book superheroes. And oftentimes he's spent his life wondering why no one tries to be a superhero. And all these answers is because people don't have superpowers, they're not rich, they can't use equipment like Iron Man or Batman can. Most people don't have actual training, and they get their ass kicked. But
and die very quickly.
Dave Lazuski kind of, he says no to sort of that mentality, and he orders a wetsuit and
A scuba suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he orders the scuba suit online, and he dresses, and he looks so stupid. But it's not about his look, it's about the message that he stands up for. And I mean, personally, I feel like if in society we had more Dave Lazuskis, I think the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
Stood up for the little guy. And I mean, unfortunate events do fall on his shoulders because he's chosen to do this. So KickAss in this one, like he gets progressively better throughout the movies, but in this one he's just a regular guy. He has absolutely no fighting training. He's just a nerd in a sweatsuit, in a scuba suit.
It's called a
A wetsuit, whatever. He's in a wetsuit, and he gets his ass kicked a lot. And there's one point where he actually gets hit by a car, and he gets stabbed and hit by a car. So I mean, like, things go really wrong for him before they go right.
So after some time in the hospital, some surgical procedures, he gets metal plates sucked in, and he feels less pain.
He feels no pain because like all his nerve endings are destroyed from the car.
Yeah.
But anyways, so like he has metal all throughout his body, so he's kind of like the bionic man. But
it still didn't make him like super strong or anything, but it made him resistant to
a little
to
more
pain.
resistant to pain. Not totally resistant, but more resistant.
So he stops someone from getting mugged at some point, and everyone witnesses that, and even videotapes him, and they see this guy just relentlessly trying to protect this guy from being mugged, and trying to take a stand saying he'd rather die.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't know.
He doesn't even know the guy.
Just people in general.
Yeah, just like
He would rather do
took a
this.
stand for someone he doesn't even know. And I don't even know if the guy was being mugged. He might have been getting beat up for something that he did. And one of the assailants say to him, like, you don't even know what this guy's done. Why are you protecting him? And he's pretty much like, well, if I don't take a stand, then who will? I mean, yeah, that's the message it wants to get across. And it sends a really good message. Like, it's very overly violent at some points, especially with a character named Hit Girl and her dad called Big Daddy, which is actually starring Nicolas Cage, which I personally am not a Nicolas Cage fan,
but he's great in this movie.
I loved him in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicolas Cage is awesome. Actually, Hit Girl, her name's Chloe.
No, that's the actress.
Yeah, no.
It's Mindy McCready.
No, I'm talking about the actress, Chloe
Moretz.
And she's like blown up ever since the KickAss movies. Pretty much, I'm going to establish the characters. So if you've got Dave Lazuski, he's KickAss. He's your average, I think he's, 17 years old? So around that?
He's in high school, but he's, yeah.
High school has a typical...
Which is hilarious because the actor's a lot older than that, but they made him look young. They did a good job, really.
And then there's McLovin. McLovin's in this movie, and McLovin is actually a very important character. McLovin from Superbad. Hey, his name's Christopher Mintz-Platz, but
I was gonna test
I always call him McLovin,
yeah.
But
he plays the main villain's son, but he also dresses up. He's Red Mist.
His name's Red Mist. He's another superhero.
Super people.
He's so funny. I love him. I love that actor. But okay, so he's a character. He's got two best friends who are kind of like really side characters. They really don't really do much other than sit with him. I mean, they have like side humor, but other than that, they don't serve much of a purpose.
But funny thing is, the first half of this movie kind of feels like a comedy, and then the second half really steps away from that. There's definitely parts you're gonna laugh at just because it's so extravagant or ridiculous, but the tone kind of changes. It gets serious, and the film kind of goes over why people don't dress up and be superheroes.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like the most realistic view of why you shouldn't be a superhero, but should at the same time. Which is weird. So, okay, characters.
I said them.
Yeah, I said who they are. What do you think about them?
Like, they're good characters. So, I mean, they're not meant to be likable people.
Bye.
I actually read KickAss, and I found Dave Lazuski in the book to be despicable. I couldn't care for him. I was like, how could I be sympathetic for this guy? But Aaron Johnson, who plays Dave Lazuski in the movie, kind of brought something to the role. They do alter the plot a little to make him sympathetic. He's still not like the most likable character, but I like seeing the actor perform as him, and I like seeing this character get beat up, but also find a way out of his predicaments. You feel for all the little hardships that's going. You also feel for Mindy McCready, who is Hit Girl. And
she's just a kid. Keep this in mind.
She's a kid who's raised by her psychopathic father. But the reason why he is so is because of a little tragic story. I won't spoil it because it's kind of revealed midway through the movie.
The character's so Big Daddy.
Even the character relationships in the movie, I particularly enjoy. Hit Girl sees potential within KickAss, even though he's just a regular kid.
I love the bond between Hit Girl and Big Daddy. It's excellent. It's father-daughter.
It's cute and messed up at the same time.
It's so like screwed up, but at the same time you're like, aww. But it's really messed up. So actually, this is the next question. I don't get to do this very often because movies don't typically have graphic novels. But how would you compare? You've read the graphic novel.
Yeah.
How would you compare the movie with the graphic novel?
I like the movie more.
No, I mean, just like comparisons. I like the movie more as well because the graphic novel's just
so
brutal.
Funny thing is, I don't want to butcher the name of the person who wrote Kick-Ass. I think it's Mark Miller. Anyway, look it up.
It's Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He was actually on set during almost all the prep for Kick-Ass. So he went hands-on negotiations with Matthew Vaughn and the writers of the screenplay, how the story would differ. And it does differ, so you can't simultaneously read the books and watch the movies. They're very different. The costumes are a little different in the movie than they are in the graphic novel, but, you know, that's design choices, that's whatever. They're meant to look a little cheaper in the graphic novel. Both are ultra-violent, maybe a little more so in the graphic novel, but the graphic novel likes to take things to an extreme just for the sake of being extreme, because it's kind of an extreme story. The movie still tries its best to be a movie, and that's kind of what I like about it, is that it manages to be extremely stylized.
It also
extremely
tones down the extremities from the graphic novel, because the graphic novel is just like
very little. Like
Well,
Yeah, in the graphic novel, there's one part where like they put a sword right through the underneath of a guy's neck, and you see it like go through his mouth.
Yeah.
But in the movie, you'll see a leg get chopped off.
I mean, it
Comedically,
yeah,
but
I guess, but in the end,
there's some bad stuff. Like it's rated R. You know, like don't take your kids to go see.
Don't take your child to this movie, or you're a bad parent.
But having said that, despite the realistic take or the different way it's made, it's actually one of my favorite superhero movies.
It's
just
funny.
because it makes me feel.
It's also real. It's real. Like, you're not kidding anyone. People die, and KickAss gets hurt, and I love that, where the main character actually gets hurt. It's not like he dodges 20,000 bullets, and you're like, what, did the bad guys shoot, like, from their anuses? I mean, like, how do bad guys miss in every movie? Like, what are they doing, shooting up in the air?
You know, at the end of the day, it's just a movie. Don't take, like, even though it's real, don't take the stuff that happens in this too seriously, because it is, as I've said already many times before, taken to an extreme. There's a microwave scene. There's a jetpack, like, scene.
Okay, it's mostly realistic. There's some very unrealistic things. I mean, it goes
like,
along with every movie.
They make for really incredible action scenes. And I'm telling you now, like, all 4 of the main cast members get their fair share of fighting and just action scenes. And it's entertaining. Some of the scenes, like, had me on the edge of my seat. When I first went into this movie, I didn't have too many expectations because I hadn't really heard about it. I actually read the graphic novel later, and the first bit is lighthearted despite being realistic because it portrays itself as a comedy. But in the second half, like, unfortunate things happen, and when you see the characters trying to get out of it, you're sort of like, oh wow.
Unfortunate things happen in a movie. It's never happened before. But yeah. So
one more thing I will appreciate is, despite being like brutal, it's really colorful, like a comic book, and I like that it knows how to maintain that balance.
Pays homage to the graphic novel, and that's what I love. I love when there's a graphic novel and a movie, so it's like you can see differences. I mean, you can't complain because they're not going to make it exactly the same. They'll never do that with a graphic novel.
You gotta understand it's a different medium. There are things in movies you can't do in a graphic novel, and the other way,
and vice versa as well. So give it a rating. So I mean, I know at the time, even now, this is not like the most high-rated movie we shot. I actually think it's a little underrated.
A lot of people think it's pretty controversial. I mean, you see a 12-year-old kill people. Don't you? It's not a spoiler. Hit Girl's bad.
What?
No, not like evil, but like she does bad things.
She's kind of evil.
At one point, I think everyone should get a view of it.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's just a warning. It's not for the faint of heart. It's gory. It's gory. It's awesome in some ways, and it's not so awesome in others. But anyways, you're gonna have to give it a view for yourself. So, overall rating, what would you say out of 10 stars? Or 10
KickAss
pickles, or 10 cucumbers.
10 blood
Grape
drops
fruits.
for this movie.
Yeah,
I give it a 9.
A 9? Ooh.
I give it a 9. Like I said, this is actually one of my favorite superhero movies because it does a lot in a short time. It's only like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not super long. But they did make a second one. They're going to make a third one.
They may not.
They will.
They didn't make money the third.
The second, you mean? Yeah.
The second one. The second one didn't make money.
Might not.
They might not. But anyway, like, you don't even... there is a tiny cliffhanger, I guess, but it doesn't necessarily need to lead into a second movie. It's a great movie on its own. So the second one's another story. We might do a review of that one day. But for me, the first... It's 9 because I don't have many complaints about it. It's entertaining every time I watch it. And, you know, like, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, okay. On the spot reviews. I love you.